Hello and welcome back to Two Kids and a Mullet Later podcast with Lavalea and Colby. Hello and welcome back to Two Kids and a Mullet Later podcast. Today I am with Chelsea from Hanging with Hayes podcast. I'm so excited. She is our first guest. Woo woo!
I'm so honored.
So Chelsea is a blue-collar wife, an entrepreneur, and a content creator. So I am so excited to just dive deep into your content, your life, and your marriage and everything. So first off, the first question I wanted to ask you was, when did you start making content?
Seriously making content or just willy-nilly?
Both, either one.
Let me think. I downloaded TikTok in 2019, December of 2019, and I just consumed it because, COVID, and I was just watching people dance during that time, of course. But then I started posting around 2021, and then I actually took it seriously when I quit my job last February. So February of last year, I said, I'm going to take this seriously because I know people can make a lot of money doing this, and I'm just going to try it. And who cares if it flops, but I don't think it will. So it's been a couple of years technically, so...
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, you've gotten a pretty large following in that time too.
Yeah.
Because I think when I just checked, it's you have 115,000 or 115,700
something. I don't know. 115 something. And then on Instagram grew fast. I think it went from, 3,000. I was hanging around 3,000 followers, and now it's 22,000, and that was in a matter of 2 months. That one blew. Yeah. I was like, how did that happen? People want to hear me talk? That's weird.
Speaking of your content, so what inspired you to make the type of content that you do?
I kind of fell into that niche, honestly.
It shows you.
Yeah, it was weird. I started just talking about my husband's job. And just talking about, my husband works as a heavy equipment operator, and I didn't know that was a huge niche, and people resonated with it big time, and it started to take off, and I'm like, this is a thing, okay? And then I realized it was a thing, big time. That was really it. I don't know. It was just a very... I just started talking and not making stories up, but just telling stories about stuff that happens, in marriages and people that are in blue collar marriages and relationships and struggles and stuff like that. And people really agree. And I didn't think it was that big of a thing, but it is.
From the videos that I've watched of you and how I found you, a lot of it, I feel like, is stuff that people need to hear that they don't get to hear a lot. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I've read your comments, and there are a bunch of people who you can tell what you say really helps them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's kind of weird still, the comments that people relate to it, because, you're not alone. You really don't have an original feeling or original thought because everybody's in the same boat. But it also makes you feel good that you're not alone and you're not the only person dealing with these kind of feelings. And yeah, it's pretty validating seeing oh, I'm not the only one that has this kind of problem right now.
Yeah. Was there a specific moment that you can remember where you realized that your content was truly helping people?
Yes, there was one I made last summer, and it was talking about men's mental health. And it was, I think, during Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, which is coming up. And I made people cry, and I didn't think I would do that. I had 3 or 4 guys reach out to me and said, Chelsea, I know you don't know me from Adam. I know I'm a random stranger on the internet, but I just wanted to let you know I almost committed suicide last night. And I opened up TikTok and your video was the first video I saw. And it was talking about, you are not alone. I hear you. And they said, I didn't do it. And I didn't realize the magnitude in what social media and talking these things through can do for other people. That one really hit me in the feels. And they said, yes, you're somebody else's wife, but you are listening to us. And you're not just saying these things. You feel these things. You believe these things. And you're an advocate for men. And I'm not sitting here being a pick me. I've been picked, okay? But like, it's just, I don't think men don't have the avenue that women do to talk because women don't listen. A lot of women don't listen. So if there are people out there that need to talk, I'm not a professional, but if you need someone to just say hi to me. But that video was hands down the most surprising thing that really, really showed me that what I'm doing isn't just little videos on the internet.
Right. Like from your comments and things I've seen, like you can tell that you are truly making a difference in people's lives. And like you said, they're not just silly videos.
Yeah. They actually have meat and potatoes to those videos. And it's not just me talking about, you should celebrate men's mental health. Like, whoa. Like I actually believe in what I'm saying.
Right. And you can tell, like, I feel like when you watch people's videos, you can definitely tell when somebody is just saying something just to say it. Every time I've seen a video of yours, you can tell it is genuinely coming from your heart.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because
it resonates.
I feel like people are like, "Oh, Chelsea's just saying shit." I'm not just saying shit. That's who I am. It's genuinely who I am. You know how you see a facade of people on the internet? This is what they're trying to portray. This is who they're trying to be, and you know those satire accounts, things like that. I am never going to be that person. What you see on the internet is literally what you get. Because I don't know how to fake that. And it's honestly incredible to me that there are so many people out there that fake that kind of stuff. And it makes me sad.
So I do want to ask you, how did you and your husband meet? And how long have you been together?
So we've been together 12 years. We just celebrated 12 years a couple weeks ago. So we actually met. It is a very long story. I dated this guy when I was like 17 for a couple months, and he took me to a motocross track, and he said, I want you to meet my buddy. And I said, okay. And his buddy is Zach's cousin, Kevin, who lives with us. He's my podcast editor. Shout out to Kevin. I could not do this shit without him. Oh my God. He said, I want you to meet Kevin. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I see Kevin a year later. That guy and I are no longer together. I see him at the gym, and he'd lost a ton of weight. And we started talking, and he was engaged, he was engaged at the time, and he was with his girl for a really long time. And it's not like I was attracted to Kevin or anything like that, but he and I were talking for a couple months, like while we were at the gym, and he said, I had told him that I was in a really toxic relationship, and I think it was time for me to leave, but I didn't know how, and I needed a new boyfriend. That's what I said. I was like 19 years old. Like that's some 19-year-old words. And he's like, well, I have a single cousin who has this really cool lifted diesel truck. Okay, let me see this truck. He shows me a picture of the truck, and then he shows me a picture of Zach. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Okay, he's cute. And but I'm like, I'm not into that. I don't want to, do anything, And a couple months later, I had posted on Facebook, does anybody want to go watch my brother play baseball? He was in his senior year of high school. And Kevin commented, I'm coming and I'm bringing Zach. And I about shit my pants. I was still dating this guy. I don't condone this behavior, just heads up. But if you know, you know. And he came and we watched baseball for like an hour. We went and got pizza. I had pizza come out my nose because I was laughing so hard. So that was embarrassing. And then we left.
He got to see it all.
Yeah, he did. This is Chelsea. This is who she is. She's a hot mess. She will laugh at nothing. I hope you enjoy. This is what you get, dude. And we left the pizza place, and he ended up smoking me out with his truck. And he messaged me on Facebook, like, I don't know, a couple hours later and said, hoping to smoke you out too much. We should do that again. And I'm like, yeah. And then 2 days later, I broke up with my boyfriend. And then I texted Kevin and Zach and I said, hey, can you help me move out of his house? And they said, be there in a half hour. And they helped me move out. And I moved in with a buddy. And 2 months later, I moved into Zach's parents' house.
Heck yeah.
And I never left.
Well, and look at you 12 years later. I mean,
Zach's my rebound, technically. So.
Hey, it worked.
You know, it really bothers me when people say, wow, you moved in so fast. But I know you know that. Like, moving in quick, but it works.
Sometimes it just works, yeah.
It does. And I mean, nowadays, probably not, but you never know.
Yeah, I never recommend anybody to do what I did, for sure.
No.
Not these days.
I'd be very hesitant, but because that's just scary.
So if you could describe Zach in 3 words, what would it be?
Oh, man. Oh, what a fun question. 3 words. Mm-hmm. Humble. Hardworking. That's 2 words, but I'm going to make it 1. Loyal.
I love that. Okay, now if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would you say?
Oh, my God. Joyful. Driven. I have like 2 words. Oh, thanks. I was thinking boisterous, but that's good too.
They're both B words. Are you the 3rd B word? No, I'm just kidding.
Better Business Bureau.
Did you grow up around the trades, or is this like a whole new world for you?
So my dad grew up on a cattle farm. So I've been in like farming, that kind of thing. Like I'm used to that. That's the trades I'm used to. I'm not used to like what Zach does, but I'm very used to like that kind of lifestyle. So I'm very aware, like when people are like, well, try dating a farmer. I understand that. Like my father was one, my grandfather, and all of my uncles, like literally my whole family. Like I get it. I was on that shit. I helped bale hay at 7. That was my first job, 50 cents an hour. Like, I get it.
Yeah, so I feel like from that, you basically knew kind of what you were getting into.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
It is. It is. It very much is. I'm also not, I don't know. It's just like when people ask, well, where do we find someone like you? Find a person who grew up on a farm. That's a really good one because she'll understand the shit's hard and it's not always going to be peaches and cream and you're not going to be home at 5 p.m. Like,
right.
We understand that. I get that. Like my uncles would come in at midnight and then wake up at 3. That was normal.
What does being a blue collar wife mean to you personally?
Well, I'm very proud of it. And I think because a lot of people will say to me, well, that sounds like a miserable life. In my eyes, wouldn't you want to be happy with what you have in the life that you're living, then be miserable and think, oh my God, I could have it some other way? It makes me feel such a sense of pride because my husband is literally building shit to make the world run. And it's such a cool feeling knowing that he's a part of something so big. In the long scheme of things, people are like, oh, well, you know, he puts pipes under the roads. Think about what you're saying, though. Like, there's
right, like they're needed.
there's a reason. Yes, exactly. Like, he is the reason why there are water mains on these very large roads that people drive across, and they have no idea.
Right.
I mean, they don't think about that. But yeah, I'm very proud of it. I've always been proud of him, even when we started dating. And he's always been in like blue collar stuff. Like when we started dating, he worked at a factory where they made car parts. And I was still proud of him then. You know, it's never been, oh, my husband's blue collar. Like he like, no, I don't think people give enough credit to people in the trades, even whatever trade it is. Like, I don't think people talk about it enough. And I know I talk about it a lot in videos, but they really don't get enough credit, and it bothers me a lot.
Right. Because I mean, I feel like I know for sure for me, whenever I was in school, trades was not pushed. Trades was something like you went to if you failed at everything else. That's kind of what they put in your mind. And now being a wife of somebody in the trades, I'm like, they have such important jobs.
Yes, they do. They are absolutely the backbone of America. And I'm not saying white collar isn't important. I'm white collar. I've been white collar my whole life, essentially. But there's such a huge stigma of white collar and blue collar. Not, you know, they don't get along, but they have to have each other to harmoniously work together. But yeah, trades are not pushed enough. I feel like it's a lot more now. I feel like it is a lot more than when we were younger. But at the same time, I still feel like, oh, you need to go to college and you need to spend $400,000 on your education. You don't have to do that. You know, you think Colby makes a ton of money doing what he does. And then there are people that do what my husband does. They make a ton of money. They don't have to go to school for that kind of stuff. Obviously trade school, but they don't have to spend as much money as you do if you're going to be a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer. And I'm not saying that those things are not important at all, for the record, but it just drives me nuts when people think, oh, you dig dirt for a living. Like, shut up. Zach calls himself a dirt removal specialist.
I love that.
It makes me laugh. Like, just be good at it. You're good at it. It's good.
What is something that you feel like people don't realize about the lifestyle that comes with being married to a blue collar man?
You have to be patient with everything. It's not cookie cutter every day. There is going to be something that is wildly different about your day, and it's not going to be, hi, I'm going to work. It's guaranteed he goes to work at the same time, but getting off, no. And a lot of people will say in my comments, well, he should get in a union. I'm like, he's in a union. They work when they just stop when the job is done. It's not. A lot of people get off at 3:00. That's fine. That's your union. But he also works in a union where if a water main breaks, what is he going to do? Just leave? It's not how that works. Like, you have to be patient, and you have to understand that these men also can't text you. That's the thing that really bothers a lot of people, that, oh my God, my husband doesn't text me enough. Do you understand, and like, put yourself in his shoes? He's literally using his hands all day long and can't have a full-on conversation with you all the time. Texting to me, and Zach and I have done this ever since we started dating. Our texting conversation is so boring. It's so like, hey, so-and-so stopped by the job site for 10 minutes. Like, his buddy Travis stopped by today. He's like, Travis talked to me for 10 minutes today. I was like, oh, that's cool. We should hang out with them. And then dinner's ready in the crock pot. Like, it is not a conversation area. In my eyes, we are both phone call people or in-person people, but you need to be patient with everything that they do because it's not going to be the same every single day. I think that's the
Right.
biggest thing.
And sometimes some of these jobs, like they're not even allowed to be on their phones. Like they can get
No.
fired immediately if they're on their phones.
They also could get hurt. Like, think about that. Like there are many times where guys will be in the hole on their phone and they're not paying attention. What the fuck happens? You could get buried. The
Right.
trench box could collapse. I'm not saying it has, but it could happen. You don't know. And if you're not paying attention, you could die. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't think a lot of women realize how dangerous these jobs are. They're very, very dangerous.
What are some unspoken jobs that you've taken on as a blue collar wife?
Ooh, that's a fun question. I think it's more of I clean the house mainly. I've taken on being the person that pays all the bills. I feel like a lot of wives are in that same boat and it just kind of happens that way. I clean the house but I like it. You know, it's kind of therapy to me. I bake, I cook. I'm that person. He hates cooking. He will, but he doesn't like it. It's also another thing that he doesn't have to do. I really think that those are the three main things. I mean, I'm also the errand getter. I'm also the person that does all the laundry. I do a lot of stuff, but we have conversations about those things. But there are a few things that I just took on silently and didn't say anything to him, and they're just completed. But I do it joyfully. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, why do you feel like it's important for you to kind of take on those roles, even if it's unspoken?
I think because, like I said, it's just one less thing that he has to deal with. And a lot of men have mental burdens that women don't know anything about, and they're never going to tell you. And it could be something so deep and you'll never know about it. I know he has things that he will never tell me. I know that. I'm very aware of that, and I'm okay with that. But he knows he could tell me these things. So me taking on these other things, I think will also lessen that burden on him. Just one less thing he has to deal with. And going back on men's mental health, women always talk about having a mental burden. Like, yes, we always do. We do these things daily. But think about the things that these men are dealing with on a daily basis. They have to stay alive. There are a lot of things that happen. Like, I'll go to Zach's job site, and it is like the most sketchy shit I've ever seen. I'll drive up and he's sitting on top of an excavator on top of a pile of something, and I don't want to see that. That's a mental burden I couldn't deal with, like, at all. I'd be freaking the fuck out. There's no way. So me doing these things, yes, it is daily, and yes, it could be taxing, and yes, I could get overstimulated some days, but I also figured out how to time manage, and a lot of people lack that. I think learning how to manage your time better would help.
What do you think men struggle with the most when it comes to marriage or mental health?
Nagging. I think, oh my God, there's so much. I could go on probably forever about this, but nagging. I see so many men in my comments. My wife does nothing but nag at me, and I can't be myself around her. And it's horrible being married. And it's just so much sad comments. And there was a couple guys that that's all they comment. Okay. And that's it. It's constant. And I'll ask them, well, why do you stay? Why do you stay? I know you probably have children, but at the same time, is it worth that? Because at the end of the day, you're going to look back on your life and you're probably going to regret marrying that person or having a baby with that person because you were miserable. So why do it? And I really think men struggle with, like I said, being able to open up to their wives because their wives weaponize every emotion that they have. And that is so unfair. Unfair. Or they'll bring it up in conversations later or fights later. Well, you said blah, blah, blah. Are you kidding me? That man is trying to be vulnerable with you and you're being a bitch. I just don't understand marriages like that, where men are not allowed to be themselves. They're not allowed to be upset. They're not allowed to show emotion. Are you kidding me? The whole connotation of be a man. If my husband didn't cry, I would be concerned.
Right.
Truly. I would be scared because I want that man to feel every bit of every feeling and tell me every bit of those feelings. And like I said, I know he won't tell me a lot of things because he doesn't want me to worry. I'm going to worry. I'm your wife. I'm also your teammate who wants you to succeed in life. And I also want you to feel comfortable and safe with me. But the fact that there are so many men out there that don't have relationships in that aspect, even a little bit, just breaks my heart.
I've even gotten comments before of men saying that the reason why they don't open up to their wife or don't tell them their feelings is because they have used it against them in the past. And you have to think, like, as a woman, how would you feel if you
Correct.
opened up to your husband and he, you know, used it against you, called you a crybaby later on, and or anything like that?
Yep. Like the double standard is insane. It is insane. But I feel a lot of men are raised in the whole, well, you can't show emotion about anything, which is fucked up.
Right.
And I know a lot of that stuff stems from their childhood. I know that. But let's be adults and try to break generational trauma by being good wives and showing them that they're allowed to be vulnerable with you. Right. I think that there's so much stuff that women just don't allow men to do. And I think that's insane.
Do you feel like now do you think it's getting better with men not feeling like they have to be those tough men all the time? Or do you feel like it's still pretty prevalent?
I think it's a mixture almost, because I feel like men are getting sick of it. I do. I really think that they are. And I know a lot of more divorces are initiated by women, but men stay in those situations because they have children or because they don't want everything taken away from them when they're divorced, and women will strip them of everything that they have, which is also so fucking unfortunate. But I do think that men are opening. I've seen a few in my comments of men saying, well, I opened up to my wife the other night and this was the first time in years. And she straight up said to me, oh my God, why didn't you say that before? Because you used it against me before, but she didn't. This one guy specifically, he sent me a message and said, thank you for everything that you talk about, because I talked to my wife and it actually went well. And it makes me sad that it had to be coming from a stranger on the internet for men to have the courage to do that. I'm proud of them. But it makes me genuinely sad that they couldn't just have those conversations with their wives in the first place because of the way that their wives are. So I think it's a combination, but.
What do you think wives can do better to help support their husband's mental health?
That's a good question. Listen without responding and actually just listen. My husband and I do a check-in with each other once a month, and we both have I'm going to talk until I'm done talking, and then you can talk. And it's worked out very well for both of us. We never argue. And I know that's going to sound stupid, and people are going to be like, yeah, okay. The only thing we argue about is food. Like, what are we having for dinner? Because neither of us, we are so like, whatever. But to listen and actually absorb what they're saying and think about how they feel is so important. And I think that's a good step in the right direction. You're not going to listen to just respond. Just fucking listen.
I feel like that a lot of people do that is they listen, not really listening, and they're only listening so they can have a comeback, so they can have something else to say.
Well, you did this. No, I need you to just hear me. If I'm upset about something, and don't say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. No, that's not okay. That's gaslighting. You need to just absorb what they're saying. They're feeling that way for a reason. They're also the thing is a lot of reactions are because of your actions. So why are they feeling that way in the first place? Did you say something to make them feel that way? Probably. Did you do something? Probably. They're telling you, hey, I'm calling you out on your bullshit. I want you to call me out on mine. So here I am trying to keep you accountable. Let's be accountable together. And that really will help your marriage. And we've had this check-in with each other for the past like 2 or 3 years. And it's been great. And I really strongly suggest people should do that, just because you can never assume somebody is happy. And I know happiness is fleeting. It's a fleeting feeling, but it's choosing to talk to that person to make sure, hey, a week ago you said this. I didn't really want to talk about it because the time wasn't right. I wasn't there mentally. I was overstimulated. I was pissed off, but I'm bringing it to you now. And I want you to realize, and I want you to know, this is how I'm feeling in that situation. And it bothered me that you said this. And then they can take that and run with it in a healthy way and say, I will do my best to never do that again. And I'm sorry I hurt you, but whatever the thing is. But I think checking in with your spouse is one of the most important things that you could do.
Absolutely. Have any followers shared personal stories with you that really stuck with you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So I had a girl who reached out to me saying that her and her boyfriend were struggling really, really bad with their relationship. They've been together 4 or 5 years. And she was talking about how he worked like an hour away from her and didn't have a ton of time to see her because she worked a lot, went to school a lot. Long story short, she was asking me for advice. Like, what would you do in this situation? And I told her, I said, this is what I would do. I've never been in this situation, but just know this is what I would try. And 6 months later, she messaged me back and said, I just want to let you know that it worked. And I was like, oh my God, that makes me so happy. I was just flying by the seat of my pants. I don't know if it was going to work. It would work in my brain, but you never know. But that made me feel so good that someone did what I said and then reported back.
Right.
That was cool. And it wasn't a super serious situation. It was more of a, we need to really figure out how we're going to spend time together kind of thing. I mean, in the long run, that is important because you're trying to spend time with each other, but you know that.
Right.
But it was the fact that she reported back. That part was really cool. And it made me really feel good. And she said, I just want to tell you thank you. Oh, I love you.
Like, I feel like that just like makes it all worth it, I guess, like doing all of the.
Yes. She's like, you really should charge for advice. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not certified in anything. I just have life experience and some stuff. But that's about
Once you start charging for it, I feel like that's where legal things start.
Like, no, thank you. If it doesn't work for you, you can't sue me, okay?
So I'm sure you do because I know I do. Do you ever get pushback or criticism about some of the things that you say in your videos?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I get a lot of controversial stuff. And I get a lot of hate messages. You say a lot of really fucked up shit. It's crazy. And I'll just block them. Blocking people is my favorite thing to do. So if you say some really mean things to me, I'm just going to block you. I'm not going to give you the time of day. Now, if it's a judge of my character, I'm going to stick up for myself. And I know it really doesn't matter. And it also depends on the mood I'm in that day. If I feel like being full of piss and vinegar, I'm going to say some shit. I'm going to get a violation that day, more than likely.
Like, if my cycle's coming, you best know I'm about to be jumping in them comments.
The luteal phase in TikTok is the dangerous place to be.
Danger zone.
Luteal. It's a dangerous place to be in TikTok if you are pissy.
Yeah.
And anybody that says that's not a thing is lying.
It's absolutely a thing. I don't know who that
Ladies,
person
check
is.
your cycle. No. Oh my God. If you look at yourself in the mirror during that, you're like, who is that?
Who is
That's
that
not
gremlin?
me.
That is a troll.
I look like a gremlin. I
Yeah.
know. I don't feel like one, but I look like one.
What was one video that you were scared to post, but you're glad you did?
My husband is always right.
Did you get a lot of like feedback from that?
Girl, that post went hard. I also posted that on April Fool's Day of last year, and people thought it was a joke, and it wasn't. They were like, is this satire? No, dude. I believe that with my heart. Like, Zach, okay. People also took it out of context because, and I said it in my video, when I ask my husband his opinion on things about a certain situation, it could be anything. It could be asking him the color of an outfit that I'm putting on, like which one looks better on my skin tone, whatever. And he'll say this one, and he's always right. Like, genuinely always right. And people lost their fucking minds.
I bet.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe you said that out loud. Blink twice if you need help. Shut the fuck up. That was the video that started all of my controversial anything. Everything stemmed from that video. But
I love that.
Yeah, that was very hilarious because I didn't expect that. And the first thing I started that video out with, I'm probably going to lose followers. I gained like 12,000 followers from that video. I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Hey, whatever.
It's because I was being positive about my husband, and nobody's positive on the internet about their husband. So it's like
right.
A breath of fresh air.
I get comments like that. Yeah, I get comments like that all the time where people are like, this is crazy. Like, no other woman, or not no other woman, but they say like they rarely ever see women on the internet praising their marriage, praising their husband.
Yep.
Which is sad.
The ones that really, really, really fucking bother me. There was this chick who, oh my God, this stuff just makes my, I can't. I think it's the blatant disrespect of your husband on the internet. That's what really bothers me. And she went with the angle of, well, we talk like this to each other. Right. You could talk to each other like that, but you're telling us that. You're telling the fucking world this thought. Okay. She said, my husband can build a deck. My husband can build a house. My husband can do a lot of things, but he can't load the dishwasher correctly. Bitch. That's fucked up. Did the dishes get cleaned? If the answer is yes, then you have nothing to complain about. I'm sorry. Yeah, there is a thing. Husband and wife banter towards each other back and forth, but you are openly disrespecting your husband on the internet. If he did that to you, do you realize how bad that would look on him? Why is it okay for you to do that? I hate that. I hate that.
Like the double standards once again.
It's just like I'm going to make a video about this because this was on my mind hardcore today. I was folding towels and I had this thought. That's such a silly thing to say, but I'm going to make this video. When women ask their husbands, hey, could you help me do this task? Fold towels. And your husband folds the towels, puts them away, and you go to look at them later and they're not folded the way you like them to be folded. You cannot be angry about that. I fully believe that. You didn't tell him how you wanted them folded. He did what you asked. You cannot be mad about that. Now, if there is like the cabinet's really small and you have to strategically do it a certain way, then say, hey, babe, next time could you fold them like this so they can fit better, whatever, but in a nice tone. But that's the other thing. Women forget their tone matters on both sides. No matter what you're saying to a person, if you say, I need you to fold these towels or please fold these towels, totally different animal. It bothers me when women berate their husbands openly on the internet, because if their husbands did that to them, they would get in so much trouble.
What myths or assumptions about blue collar husbands do you wish you could just completely erase?
He's going to cheat on you. He's having an affair with you. Love that one. Love that one. Especially he's working late. He's 100% having an affair on you. Yep. Totally. Anybody that knows me and my husband personally, that's not, everybody knows my husband's very obsessed with me. He is very in love with me. I know it might not seem like it on the internet because he's very like cut and dry. This is the way it is kind of thing. Just like Colby.
Yeah, Colby's very similar.
Yep. That's a huge thing. Now, there are a lot of men that do have affairs and cheat, but it's not every single one of them.
Right.
And I think it's like a stigma for the trades. Oh, they're gonna fuck around on you. No, not every man's like that. Stop saying all. They're not all like that. There are actually men that are raised properly and want to have a good, loving relationship with their spouse, and they don't cheat on you. I think that's probably the biggest one.
Right. Like, it's not fair to just lump them all into the same category.
It's not an absolute.
So how do you see your platform evolving over the next couple of years?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because like I said, I fell into this niche. Am I going to fall into another one? I don't know. I think I'll gain more followers. I think it'll be more of a steady following of the same people. The algorithm obviously will change and I'll lose people, but I think it's going to become something so big I can't even imagine in a good way, because in my head I have this ability to tell stories to people about my life and my marriage and maybe inspire someone to try something different, a different method for something. I'm not saying I'm a marriage counselor by any fucking means.
Yeah, but I feel like you definitely have inspired many people, for sure.
I feel like that too. And it's a weird feeling, like I said, but it's I think there's something there. I just don't know exactly what it is. But I feel my voice has shown people that healthy marriages do still exist. And, talking to people like you and it's so cool that you and I can do this and just talk about things that are actually that matter. And it's
Right.
so cool to see that social media has such a power for that. And there's so much negative on the internet. And I think just our little 1 to 2 minute videos just bring a little boop to the world, and people like it because it's not negative.
Right.
I think it'll be huge on a different aspect that I don't even realize.
I think so
who
too.
knows what'll happen tomorrow? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what's the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
My uncle said this when I was really young. You don't have to do anything to make enemies. And I believe that. So be yourself, be authentic, be genuine. People will see right through your bullshit. Be a light in this world and use whatever language you want to use to make your voice known. I really think people will love you for you. Because a lot of people ask me, well, how did you pick that niche? I didn't. It, like I said, it fell into my lap, but I think people like me for who I am and not the words that I'm saying. So I really think being genuinely yourself, people are still going to hate you,
Right.
but it doesn't matter because those people don't matter.
Right. I love that. Where can people find you on social media?
They can find me on TikTok and Instagram. My TikTok is Chelsea H929. And my Instagram, I had to change my name because people thought my name was Chelsea. Like they would say my name with like the H at the end. I'm like, nope, that's not my name. So it's Chelsea.0929. So I could, yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's where you'll find me.
Really hope that people definitely go to your profiles, follow you. You definitely have just amazing messages to give the world. And I truly believe that you are a part of making the world a better place. So
thank you. I'm so glad we found each other. As soon as I found you, I was like, oh, I'm going to resonate with her. I love her.
Your very first video I ever saw, I just like listening to your voice. I don't know what it, like I said, you just like resonate very well through the camera. And so I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this girl. Like, I love her.
Oh, you're so nice. What was the video? Do you remember?
I want to say it was one of you. You were in your room and you were talking about something. It was something about like, you were giving advice to women on just like how to be there for their husband. It was just, you know, and I think like you always, or it's very rare to see women standing up for men. I don't know. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And like, I also feel very strongly about that. Like the fact that we are not better than them. Like, I'm tired of the stigma that we need to hate men.
Oh my God, I'm so sick of it. I hate it.
Yeah. So just seeing your message.
Have purposes.
Right. And we're different and we're supposed to be different. And, you know, we complement each other. But it's just so nice to see other people have similar, you know, beliefs.
It's so refreshing. Just seeing you packing Colby's lunch, and just your body language together. Oh my God, it makes me so happy watching your videos. I'm like, oh, I love them. So cute. You don't see that shit like at all. So if you see somebody genuinely, you can just tell you guys love each other. That's the thing. It's not like you're just like, oh, I'm making these videos for views. Like you can see that. And that's something you can't fake. And a lot of people say that to me. Like it's very obvious you guys love each other because of the way he looks at you and the way you look at him. But man, though that was my first video I ever watched of yours was you packing us lunch. And I'm like, oh, another one of me. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But I have really enjoyed talking to you, and I appreciate you being on the podcast and being our first guest, which
I'm so
has
honored.
been so exciting for me.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. It's so fun.
Thank you.
It's like the best feeling when you get your first guest and you're, doing it, and it still scares me. And I've been doing this since like February, but it's like it's so cool to be your first guest. That feels so good. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely. Well, I love you. I'll talk to you soon because we're definitely going to be keeping in touch, and I would love to have you back on in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to see you in a couple, maybe less than a couple years when you're just like 1 million followers, 2 million followers.
I don't know if I can handle that, girl.